What I think is almost certainly being covered up, because we have witnesses telling us this, is I think a lot more American troops have been injured, some of them seriously, than the Pentagon has been willing to acknowledge at this point. I think the Iranians have been far more successful at hitting American targets than anyone is willing to talk about. I think also they've been far more successful at hitting infrastructure inside of Israel. The Israelis have imposed sweeping censorship on what targets have been hit. You know, we have the Qatari oil minister coming out today and basically saying, if this thing goes on for weeks, it's going to crash the entire global economy, that prices are going to skyrocket, that oil and gas prices are going to skyrocket. It's already happening. So what Trump is doing right now is lighting a massive fire. And I think if it does go on, we're going to see the US death toll tick up, and we're going to start to see actual American interests set on fire by this policy.
Ryan, when you have all these Gulf states.
Tim, I think that.
Go on, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, of all these Gulf states, we have our embassies there. Iran has targeted these embassies incredibly successfully. We have diplomats and U.S. citizens stranded in that part of the world and cannot get out. Dubai, which is either the busiest or one of the busiest international airports, you know, has been closed. What does this do to our relationship to those Gulf states? Do they rebuild those embassies? We haven't seemingly protected our interests in those countries. And those countries have been made vulnerable by this, and they're going to lose a lot of money with tourism. Why wouldn't those countries just say, we want to deal with China or someone else? We don't want to deal with the United States when they're going to unilaterally launch a war with Israel that destabilizes the entire region.
Yeah, they are expressing a lot of outrage about this. One of the most powerful and influential businessmen in the UAE, who was a former business partner of Trump himself, put out this long statement saying, you know, Mr. President, Your Excellency, who gave you the right to do this? Who authorized you to set this region on fire? They're also frustrated by the fact that Israel gets most of the treatment when it comes to missile defense, despite the fact that, you know, we mostly pay for those, whereas the Gulf countries that pay the United States, buy the weapons, are getting the short end of the stick.